Nima. We're starting a new series today called Team Tuesday, where we feature a different Nema team member every week. This week we're going to start off with our co-founder and chief product officer, Scott. So he's in a little room over there, so we're going to go see what he's doing. Come with. Hey, Scott.
Hello.
How's it going?
Going well. How about you?
Good. So we're doing Team Tuesday. It's a new series. We wanted to feature you first.
All right.
So say hi to Facebook and all of our followers.
What's up, Nema fans?
So Scott, why did you decide to found Nema?
Yeah, so the idea from Nema really came from a lot of personal pain points from both my co-founder Shireen and I. So I have ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune intestinal disease. So just from that, I've had lots of food intolerances, lots of food allergies, lots of experimentation with food, and I just found that, eating is this huge part of your health that we don't really understand that well. We don't understand what we're putting in our bodies, what effect it's having, and so I wanted to start a company that would really help people with that, help people be healthier. That's
awesome. And you were like a baby when you started the company, right?
Yeah, I was about 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So before Nema, what were you doing?
Yeah, so before Nema, so I went to school at MIT where I studied product development, mechanical engineering. And so with that, I worked at Johnson & Johnson doing early stage product development there. I also spent some time in operations consulting doing large scale process improvements in big companies, which learned a lot, but really what I wanted to get back to was that just what I'm passionate about, which is product development. It's working directly on something that can impact an individual human. And I just wanted to start Nema.
That's awesome. And I know a lot of you know Shireen's story, but hearing about Scott's story too, I also have Crohn's disease, so I know a lot of people at the company are, really behind what you're doing, and me, myself included. So what's your food identity? Obviously gluten-free, but what else?
Yeah, so my food identity has taken a lot of different turns. So I'm gluten-free, so there's lots of research on just the negative impact that gluten has for people, really all people, but specifically and especially people with inflammation issues. So strictly gluten-free to help with my colitis. I've also, for people that have colitis or know anything about it, there's lots of diets that have been recommended. The SCD diet, I've tried that. FODMAP diet, I've tried that. The GAPS diet, I've tried that. So I've gone through lots of different iterations. Currently, I'm on what I like to call a primarily plant-based real food diet. So
what's the acronym for that?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
I could use some marketing help. But yeah, so through recent research that I've been doing, I found that there's a strong link between really protein and animal protein specifically with colitis. So I cut out almost all animal protein from my diet. I still eat butter. I still eat meat once a week, once every other week. I eat ghee. If anyone knows Ayurvedic medicine, ghee is like the holy grail.
Oh.
So I eat ghee. But for me, it's really the quality of the food that's important. So I eat organic whenever I can. If I'm eating meat, I make sure that it's pasture-raised, grass-fed. So really, food literally becomes the building blocks of our body. So anything that I put in my body, I try to get from a really high-quality source or a really happy source if it's an animal.
How do you source happy animals? Like how?
Yeah, I try to ask the meat a question and then just see how it responds. And usually if I get like a smile or a laugh, you really have to concentrate.
Are there mood rings for animals?
I don't know. We should see if we can find one.
Next project.
Exactly, yeah. Nema version 2. Yeah.
So what do you do on your free time?
Free time, I do lots of things. So really love being outdoors. So I have a big dog, a 90-pound dog. Love going hiking with him, going to the beach. I also recently have been really interested in just researching autoimmune diseases, the microbiome. I have a personal blog that I write a little bit about it, but really just, the human body in general I think is so fascinating. And with my own struggles with autoimmune disease, I just love diving into the scientific literature behind it and just finding what research is out there that a doctor might not necessarily know about and might not necessarily tell you, because there is so much information and it is so fascinating what we're learning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of a nerd in that way. I spend my weekends reading medical papers.
We all have our nerdy things. So where do you see Nema going? Like, what do you, as the chief product officer, what do you hope Nema can do in the future? What's next?
Yeah, this is where I get really excited. So I think Nema we have so much potential. So I think where a lot of this starts is, of course, our first product and the platform that has created, but then also really especially our app and the community and the data that we're building. So as anyone watching knows, our first product is a gluten sensor. We then have products for peanut, other really contaminants or things that people might have severe issues with in food, and all that information can then go in our app. So you can go, when someone tests the food, they can see in our app just what that result is, and that creates this whole ecosystem of information that has never existed before. So in the long term, really what we're excited about is just anything in your food that might impact your health. And so food is health. Everybody is different. Everyone reacts to food differently. But right now, the biggest issue that I see is that we don't know what's in our food. And so we're starting with these very severe issues, so gluten, peanut, and so on. But in the long term, we really see just a lot more potential of creating data on food, giving people hardware, and then the software that's connected to that can just give a lot more data about in the food to let anyone just make the best and healthiest choices for their individual needs, whether that's being vegan or being paleo or keto or whatever you want, whatever is best for you. We just want to give people that information.
So speaking about individuals, you as an individual, if you could create a Nema for anything, what would it be?
Oh, that's a great question. I would love to have a Nema that would give me very clear information on the microbiome change that the food was about to give me. So as someone with colitis, I'm very interested in the microbiome, what impact that has on health.
Yeah.
So if I could scan my food and then see, oh, this is going to make your Bacteroidetes, your Firmicutes go up or down, and just what impact that's going to have, yeah.
That would
I would nerd out
I
on
would
that.
buy that, Nima. That's awesome. All right, and final question here. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, the ultimate question.
It is the question, right?
It is the
Save
question.
the best for last.
Yeah, I've asked people this question so many times, and I've never thought of my own answer.
We're turning it back on you now.
Yeah. So I would say like the sort of like the cheat answer would be something like pizza or like a burger, because there's so many varieties that you could do. There's so many things. If I had to, I'm going to be a purist here, and if I had to say just one individual food, like a individual fruit or a vegetable or a meat,
not a meal, but like a food item.
A individual food item. If we're going pure about the question, I have to say an avocado.
An avocado.
Avocado, yeah.
They are very
delicious.
versatile.
They're very versatile. It's high in nutrient content, lots of fat that gives you energy. It has fiber, feeds your microbiome. It's just, I love avocados.
There you go. On that note, this is our first Team Tuesday of our series. Scott, thanks so much for being our first. And everyone stay tuned. Every Tuesday, join our Facebook Lives. We're also going to throw up some Instagram stories on our Instagram page at NimaSensor. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Nima community.